Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. A performance-enhancing drug test which Tyson Fury and his cousin Hughie Fury failed in 2015 is now back under the spotlight, and that's because of an article in the Daily Mail which claims a key witness who provided evidence on the Fury's behalf has now recanted, saying he did not provide them the boar meat that he once said he did. And a key point of the Fury's defense for that failed test, which showed traces of nandrolone, was that they had been provided wild boar meat, and that accounted for the failed test. And there was a long-running UKAD case into this, and ultimately there was a 2-year backdated period of ineligibility. And we'll come to that UKAD stuff a bit later, because people often with the sands of time, forget what actually happened and what was said. But Fury, both of them, accepted a backdated period of ineligibility back in 2017. So the issue now, which according to the Daily Mail is a key witness, so see here on screen, Lancashire pig farmer who could knock out Tyson Fury, witness 70 sensationally withdraws evidence that helped to clear the world champion of drug cheating. So 3 key points at the top here. It says Martin Clearfoot is retracting evidence that formed part of Fury's defence. Mr. Clearfoot claims he was offered £25,000 to concoct a bizarre series of lies, at the heart of which was a claim to have supplied wild boar meat to Fury's team. So we'll just scroll down here. So he is quoted as saying, we'll get straight to the heart of the quotes, "I feel fed up with the lies and deceit. The public needs to know the truth. I'm happy the public know what all this is about. I feel cheated and used." And just bear in mind, so I will get to a quote that is in the story further on by Frank Warren and also UKAD. So it says, Fury and his cousin Hughie, a fellow boxer, sparked controversy when they tested positive for anabolic steroid nandrolone in February 2015 following a urine test. In September 2016, Fury was accused of refusing to provide another sample for further testing. Both men denied doping and maintained the presence of the banned substance was because they had taken contaminated fitness supplements, or in a defense that caught the public imagination, because they had regularly eaten uncastrated wild boar. They had science on their side, as in some instances wild boar meat and offal, which includes entrails and internal organs, is thought to bring about a rise in natural levels of nandrolone in the body. So the article goes on to say, and their team at legal firm Morgan Sports Law submitted evidence showing that Mr. Clearfoot had regularly supplied wild boar meat, sending it to their gym in Bolton. Indeed, Mr. Clearfoot had provided 2 written statements confirming that he had been approached by a member of the Fury's team who was looking to purchase large amounts of high-quality fresh meat on a regular basis for Tyson Fury and Hughie Fury, 2 professional boxers who had very specific diets with high protein requirements. So he says, this is Mr. Clearfoot, "I supplied 1 fully butchered wild boar pig to Team Fury, generally every 3 to 6 weeks. Although some customers would only want specific cuts, Team Fury were keen to use the whole animal, including liver, kidney and other offal. Once the animal was slaughtered, butchered, I would place the meat in plastic trays which were clearly labelled." So bearing in mind, this is some of the information that he previously supplied in written statements. But it goes on to say, and this is a confession that the paper says is potentially undermines UKAD's judgment in the Fury's defence. Mr. Clearfoot claims that his statements were completely fabricated. He says, "I never supplied wild boar to Tyson Fury or Team Fury. I have never kept wild boar. I have never killed a wild boar." And further down here it says, "They were in a mess and they were panicking. They came to me and said they had a problem. They just said a simple letter to say I had supplied wild boar. It will help them get off the hook." And I said, "Okay, I'll do what you say." I knew the bloke very well. He had done me a few favours. And then it goes on to say that he never received the £25,000 he was promised, and that Mr. Clearfoot did supply photographs, but he says they came from a wild boar at Bowland Wild Boar Park in Chipling, Lancashire. But of these claims, Tyson Fury's promoter Frank Warren has reacted angrily to them, saying, "These allegations are totally unfounded and libelous. You are dealing with a man who is an admitted liar. Did Tyson ever have a conversation with this man? Which supposed member of Fury's team did he have a conversation with this man? You are relying on the word of a liar. Did he lie back then, or is he lying now? This is a man who is willing to commit perjury." And a UKAD spokesman said, "We will always review any potential evidence in relation to any doping offence and take investigatory action where necessary. If anyone has more information that could be of interest to UKAD and its investigations on any matter, we urge them to contact us." So these are very serious claims, and Frank Warren does have a good point there. Is he lying now, or was he lying then? Or is he just bitter because he didn't allegedly get his £25,000? So these are claims from someone that Tyson Fury and Hughie Fury relied on heavily in their defense about taking wild boar being the reason that they had some nandrolone in their system, or metabolites of it, I should say. Because the UKAD statement, and I know some people like to say, well, there was no failed test, but there was a failed test, and Tyson Fury and Hughie Fury issued a joint statement with UKAD back in December 2017. So it says UKAD, Tyson Fury and Hughie Fury have agreed to resolve the proceedings brought by UKAD against Tyson Fury and Hughie Fury based on the reported presence of elevated levels of nandrolone metabolites in urine samples that they provided for their respective fights in February 2015, and against Tyson Fury based on his alleged failure to provide a sample in September 2016. UKAD's position is that the anti-doping rule violations it has asserted have been committed, and the consequences set out in the UK anti-doping rules should apply. Tyson and Hughie Fury's position is that they never knowingly or deliberately committed any anti-doping rule violation in recognition of their respective counter-arguments and the risks inherent with the dispute resolution process. Each side has accepted a compromise of its position. And then it goes on to detail that each receive a 2-year period of ineligibility and that the results from their respective fights in February 2015 are disqualified. And then it goes on to say that given the length of time from the original charge, etc., that the provisional suspensions that Tyson and Hughie Fury have already effectively served, the 2-year period of ineligibility is backdated to 13 December 2015, and therefore expires midnight on 12 December 2017, which was when they issued that statement. So that was a case that dragged on and on for UKAD and reportedly cost it a lot of money. And they did actually issue a statement on that, so I'll just get to that quickly. This is more context here. So Nicole Sapstead, UKAD chief executive, says the money spent by UK anti-doping in the Fury case shows that if we determine there is evidence of doping, we will pursue a case against an athlete, coach or doctor, regardless of their public profile or status. In this case, 2 anti-rule doping violations were upheld and 2-year bans given to each athlete. As an arm's-length body of government, we are always careful about how we spend public money, yada, 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 all that sort of stuff. So in UKAD's eyes, that there were doping violations and that they did give a 2-year backdated period, which, you know, here they call it a ban and the other one they call it a period of ineligibility. But there was a case to answer, and a key point in the Fury defense, which this case dragged on for a long time, and ultimately got settled in the end. They came to a resolution, but a key point in the defense was the nandrolone angle. So this farmer is saying that he never had boar, he never provided boar, has never killed a boar, and that $25,000 was offered for him to make up a statement on their behalf to back them up of their claim of taking wild boar, which was contaminated, to explain the nandrolone in their system, or the metabolites of it, I should say. So yeah, not a good look for Tyson Fury and Hughie Fury, these claims here. But at the moment, we have to stress this is just claims, because Frank Warren makes a good point. Is this guy just bitter? Is this something that, you know, he's wanting to come out after Tyson Fury's recent win to try sort of pour some cold water on Tyson Fury's parade? But the timing now is interesting. So why would he come out now? What does he have to benefit now? Is he really just trying to get his money, or has he been recently trying to strong arm the people that he knows within Team Fury to pay him, or he would come out publicly? Because seemingly this has come out of nowhere. So you have to question the credibility of this guy to some extent. But in the whole with this thing, it's not a good look, whatever the case. But UKAD is saying that it has dealt with the matter as of their statement from the end of 2017. Would this influence them to come out and do something different? It's hard to say, or, you know, potentially the same thing could happen again, that they could get buried in paperwork, and obviously this could drag out forever and a day as it did the first time. But obviously, on the face of it, not a good look. As it is, a lot of people have made jokes over the year that the boar defense is pretty weak and doesn't really sound credible. And obviously this guy is coming out and saying, well, actually, it's not, because I didn't give them boar, I've never killed a boar, I've never had boar, and it never happened, and I never got my £25,000 either. But yeah, what do you make of this? Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.